Islam.
Toynbee said that the two great things the West could learn from Islam was the Brotherhood, because he felt that the West had failed to acknowledge the human family, that there's still a great deal of racism. And I believe still our culture has a great deal of racism. Notwithstanding Obama, there's a lot of good people there trying to overcome racism. One of the things that's deeply troubling me, and I was talking to it with somebody just a few minutes ago, one of the things that's deeply troubling with me, the first time in world history you have a civilization that is really attempting to overcome racism. The anti-discriminatory laws are unprecedented in human history. And so it's so troubling that there's so much tension right now. And one of the things that I like to tell my students is that there are two types of morality. There's morality based on nouns and adjectives, and there's morality based on verbs and adverbs. And true morality is deeply rooted in verbs and adverbs. And I'll give you an example. If a policeman kills a black man, if you're in nouns and adjectives, there are people that automatically assume that the policeman was in the right, and there are people that automatically assume that the black man was in the right, it was wrong. Or if a Palestinian does something to a Jew, or a Jew to a Palestinian, there's people that their morality is based on nouns and adjectives, and that's what determines their morality. Real morality has to be rooted in verbs and adverbs. The operative word is so-and-so killed, so-and-so killed is the operative word, and then the adverb comes in, either an adverbial phrase like in self-defense or justifiably. That's real morality. And so getting out of looking at people as other than you. You know, like Arabs, I mean, anti-Arab discrimination, you hear people say things now in the United States about Arabs. If you just did a replacement for any other ethnicity, it would be completely unacceptable. People would lose their jobs, but to say it about Arabs is just no big deal. And that's pure racism. It's all it is. It's just racism. And it's not to say that Muslims have not been victims of tribalism and racism. There has been. But one of the beauties of Islam, and I've seen this all over the Muslim world, is that they would never not eat or be friends with somebody because of the color of their skin. They might not marry their daughter because the tribe or something like that. That definitely happens. Or he's a Baluchi and they're a Punjabi. You know, like the Patels always have to marry Patels. You know, things like that. That happens. But I truly witnessed in many Muslim countries, you know, a real just, you know, I have a Libyan friend who told me that he thought Farah Khan was right. This was after 9/11. I said, why would you say that? He said, no, you know, white people are the devils. I said, why would you say that? He was joking, you know, but he said, because I found out that I wasn't white. Because Arabs think of themselves as white, you know. I mean, the West African Mauritanians call themselves Baydan, which means white people. Even though they could be like very dark, but they still consider themselves white. So I feel racism is a major thing. And it's not about color. The Irish have been racially objectified for centuries by the Anglo-Saxon. And they're as white as the moon. So it's not necessarily about color. But there is a hadith, and this directly speaks to this. The Prophet said that God does not look at your colors. لا ينظر إلى صوركم. He doesn't look at your forms, but he looks at your hearts and your actions. He doesn't look at your bodies or your forms, but he looks at your hearts and your actions. And to me, you could reinterpret that to say he does not look at your adjectives and your nouns, but he looks at your verbs and your adverbs.
Martin Luther King said something quite similar, if I recall. Thank you very much for this conversation and for this last call for radical equality.